Welcome to another sololevelingarise video. So let's go over a previous build that I have for Alicia before we move on to the new 8-piece set, which is going to be the Burning Curse that I'm going to be using on her. So I am running a 4-piece toughness set because this is going to be one of my best artifact set that I had at the time. If you don't have artifact set and you can't farm the burning set, that's fine. You can do an armed set, which is gonna give you more defense penetration. This is gonna be better for the later stages of the game, especially if you're in a red, since all your crit stuff goes down, but I believe your defense pen stays. So that's gonna be perfect for that. If you have a good solid foundation set, that's also good. That's gonna buff your core damage by 18%. The second part doesn't really matter, as well as the first part also don't matter because she doesn't basic attack. As well as you don't charge your core gauge with your basic attack. So you're only really here for 18%, and technically you're gonna get more from a 4-piece set for a toughness set. And then on the right side, I use the expert set just because I think every other set doesn't really benefit her as much, seeing that she already does a lot of damage. So I have the expert set because this buffs her attack the most, especially in power of destruction. So that's my main purpose of that. I don't really need it for short content, but the only time I change this is in Battlefield of Time, such as the current one right now. I would switch out the expert set because that's very bad on Battlefield of Time, and I switched that with concentration of firepower. So those are the two pretty much set that you can use with her before, if you don't have the Burning Curse set. And technically you could still be running these, especially not next month, I think the end of the month, when they introduce brand new dungeons that's gonna give us level 73 and maybe a level 80 version of these sets. So yeah, and also I was able to update my Sojiru, so now her crit stuff is actually perfect. So, and then she's gonna be performing just as good. So let's just go over what current stats that she has. Her total power is 123,000, with attack and defense at, well, with her attack at 16,000. Every other stats don't matter. Her HP is pretty high. Her survivability, that's good for normal mode Vulcan, even easy mode. I said not in easy mode because you don't fight Vulcan in easy mode. So yeah, this is what I have: 50% crit hit rate as well as 189 crit damage. No deep. I should have pretty low defense span, which is 1% is nothing, and 0% increased damage. So yeah, so let's test her out in a couple of fights. Mainly, I'm gonna do Cerberus, and I'll probably do some damage testing with the bear at floor 25, just so we can get some big numbers. And then after that, I'm gonna show a neat trick with Alicia that you can use in one of the game modes, where in my opinion she's probably the new best character in that game mode. So yeah, let's start with Cerberus. So we're not gonna use Malin because Malin buffs Alicia way too much, and that's not gonna be the purpose. We might use Malin if I ever get to pull a set on her, just to see how much damage that she buffs. But so this is the skill rotation when you use Alicia. You always want to make sure that she's not the first character. You want her to have her QTE ready. So you always QTE. This is when you have her A2. It also works with A1, which is going to give you 2 stacks. And then after that, you're going to use your Tornado or your Freeze, depending on which one you need the most. For the boss fight, you're going to want to use Tornado. For mobs, you're going to want to use the Freeze. And then after that, we're going to have 4 stacks if you have her A2. You're going to have 2 stacks if you have her before that. So if you have her at if you don't have her at A2, you're fine with just doing, I guess, 2 stacks. But at best, I suggest try to go for A2 the minimum. So once you have your 3 stacks, you're just gonna do your core attack. That did about 1.1 million, which is good. So at that time there, you would do your core attack. You're gonna use your second skills that you didn't use, and then you're gonna do the core attack again. That would give you, if you have her A2, 2 full stacks attack, which deals a lot of damage. But see, if you have her A1, it's gonna do a bit less, but that's still okay. If you're actually using Malin here, and you're gonna want Malin in front of Alicia, and then Malin is just gonna give Alicia like a power gain. So maybe in rotation you can do an ult. So you would freeze ult while he's frozen because you do more damage when you're frozen if you have a higher advancement. And yeah, that's just how you use her. So now let's look at how much number does she do. So we saw 1.1 million with the full stacks. This one is doing about 200,000. And then just remember, we're doing 50% increased damage against this fight because we have it 3 stars. And then core attack again for 607,000. Gonna do that. Just for a little bit more. Also, your skill 2 and your skill 1, they're both very good at canceling the animation. But let's see if I can show it off here. So let's do our QTE so we can get the some stacks. There, cancel it. Start the animation as soon as the first hit. Dash and cancel it. That will increase your damage because you're able to do all your attacks while the enemy is frozen. So yeah, based on the numbers there, the numbers weren't too bad. About 200,000 on the tornado, about 1.1 million on the 3 stacks core attack. I can't really show off her ult, but her ult usually deals a pretty good amount of damage, and then her skill 2 normally do a lot of damage as well. So yeah, so that's against Cerberus. Let's fight the bear just so we can show bigger numbers. And this time, I think I'm gonna bring Malin, so we can do 2 fights with the bear with that. So let's go to that now. All right, so Malin is here. So Malin is gonna be giving Alicia some attack percent. The first fight, I'm not gonna use any of her skills. We're just gonna do the QTE. And sometimes I don't normally like testing against the bear, but I do it just so we can just see some big numbers. Big numbers are always nice to look at anyway. But just the damage test against the bear normally doesn't show anything unless you're fighting the bear in like a battlefield of chaos. And then that's fine. So let's just do our tornado. Our tornado did about 800,000 normally. So against the bear, that's probably gonna be... Why is that on auto? That's okay. Did about 700,000. And then this is gonna be a 3 stacks of our core. 3.4 million. And that's without Malin. So let's use Malin. And then let's just see how much damage we can do with Malin. If I can dodge that properly. There you go. So here's the buff with Malin. QTE. This time we'll use our skill 2 and we cancel it. Since he can be frozen, that's gonna be good. So 3.5 earlier. 4.6 right now. I don't think that all crits. If that all crits, it's probably gonna be closer to 6 million. So let's try that again. Since we already have a stack, 2 stacks, that's fine. Just do that and cancel it. 3.6, probably closer to 6 million if everything goes well. So now let's switch our build. Here's the new set. This is the 8-piece set. So there's gonna be attack here with some defense pen with crit damage boots and then attack ring. Our total power is now 161,000 compared to 123 earlier. That's a big difference, especially if you're gonna do your later endgame fights. That's gonna help you not be in a red. And then the damage wise, it should be about the same or slightly better depending on what you have. So this is the stats that I have. 50% crit rate, 189% crit damage, which is pretty much the same as the older build. But we're losing the 32% from toughness. So that could be a big hit. But if you're running greed with someone else, that's okay. Our defense pen is now at 16%. And our damage increases at 12%. So big changes in that we finally have stats in those things. And then our attack, we lost 2,000 attack. We gained 40,000 power, as well as we gained those 2 other stats. So technically, the number wise could be about the same. Or it depends on what you have. But the Burning Curse set, this is what it does. It's going to increase my damage by 30% plus an additional 0.2% every 1 second, stacking up to 100 times. So that's 50%. But 100 seconds is going to be way too long for most content in the game, except for probably Vulcan and except for Power of Destruction. But the increased 30%, that's going to change. That's going to be the replacement of the 32% crit damage that we lost. So we're going to see how that stacks up. So yeah, let's go fight Cerberus first. So we're not gonna use Maylin support here. We're just gonna have her for the extra attack that we lost. Should have just put her in the beginning against my fight, but the number is probably not gonna be big enough to matter. So same thing as before. QTE to give you 2 stacks. And let's just do the tornado. Tornado is sticking for a lot more. Reached 300,000 damage. So the core attack did 1.1 million. That did 1.6 million instead. Pretty good damage difference. And that's only at 20 stacks. So at 100 stacks, that's gonna definitely be a lot more than the 32% crit, I think. Oh, let's just do that again. We got our 3rd stacks here. Less than 1 million there. Just because it depends on the crit. Then we can probably end the fight here. So the damage wise, it's very similar to the one before, but our CP is a lot more. So that's a W in that fight. So let's fight the bear now and see what's the difference. From the previous testing, the damage was around, I believe, 3 million without Maylin support and about 4.5 million with Maylin support. So let's just see with Maylin support here, I guess. This is gonna be 5.4 million. And then let's use this skill so we can get the so cute effect. Let's just miss that on purpose so we can get 3 stacks. 4.6 million. Definitely a lot higher. So this build's number so far looks better just because of the defense spend and damage increase. Now let's go over a game mode where people might not think she's the best at, but in my opinion she is. So let's go to that now. This is Battlefield of Time Challenge. This is the first fight, but this works in every stage of Battlefield of Time Challenge and as well as Battlefield of Time Normal. So this is our starting point, which is just behind these rocks. So a normal character has 3 dashes that will reset back to 3. And this is how far they can go. So 1 dash. So they go about here, just behind the rock, before it resets the 3 dash. So let's just kill these characters, because we don't need to. And then when that resets, you can dash again. That's going to put you around here. But with Maylin, so let's reset. Maylin goes farther than that. So from what we saw there, we get behind the rock with just 3 dashes. But with Maylin, she has an extra dash. So this is how you do it. So now she's in front of the rocks. And then I have my 3 dashes back from the reset. Which means now I'm going to be a little further away than everyone else. And then my tornado is back, which means I can go even further. She traversed the map so far compared to every other character in the game. And that her skill is actually big enough to wave clear most stages that I think Alicia might be a better wave clear for Battlefield of Time Challenge than Emma. So now let's do the exact same thing but with Emma.
조금 긴장되네.
So we're gonna switch with Emma. And then move over here because this is where the starting point is. And this is how Emma would do it. She would dash 3 times. And then walk, maybe dash a little bit more. Do that and cancel that. And if you don't get everyone, you just hold it a little bit more. And then you move on to the next stage. And then dash again 3 times. But then you have to walk. And then do your move. And then your dash is back. Clear that. And then use your core. And then dash again. I think that Alicia can do the exact same thing as what Emma just did, but faster. So now let's reset this again and do the exact same thing, but this time with Alicia. Now with Alicia, when you do your movement like this, your core attack is already charged. So normally you would be able to get that one if you move a little bit faster. And then you just do your dash again. Your core attack is charged, so you can already move on to the next phase. And yeah, it does it so much faster It looks slow now because it's hard to do this while talking, but if you focus on doing on it, you traverse so much farther than everyone else with Alicia. And that can cut pretty much around
빈틈이
maybe a second or two on your clear time. And 1 and 2 second in Battlefield of Time challenge
성공했어.
is very important. So this is my time with her. Mine is 36 seconds and the number 2 is 41. And what's the difference in that? They have Alicia in the back. If you have Alicia in the front and you traverse the map with Alicia, you're gonna cut off a couple of seconds in that time. Plus, she do more damage than Cha. It's because Cha takes a while to do her skills, and then if you ult, that's also another time. Alicia's core attack can instantly probably one-shot the boss, and this is gonna cut off. So now I think she's the best character in Battlefield of Time Challenge, which it used to be Emma. So she's just super strong. Best character in Power of Destruction. Best character in Battlefield of Time Challenge. Best character in Vulcan, in Workshop. She's probably the best character in Reverse Mode too. It's just crazy how much better she is than everyone else. And she has the best support too in Melee. And plus the curse set works really well against her. They really made an insane character, and I can't wait on who they release next that can top Alicia. Maybe the new character, Suhyun, does it. Maybe Gogun Hee does it. Maybe Goto Ryuji does it. But at the moment, she's the best character in the game. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.